Hey up ducks, and welcome back to the Yawhg. I'm gonna see if I can fare any better this time if I do 4 characters. If it'll let me. Let's see. I can have all of them. Excellent. There. You spent the week cutting down trees for the village. You gain 2 physique and earn yourself 1 wealth. Fantastic. One night through the trees, you spot a group of cloaked figures, all standing in a circle. They are chanting in unison. O mighty Lord of the Night, Master of the Beasts, Bringer of Pain and Derision. You accidentally step on a twig, producing a loud cracking noise. They immediately stop chanting and look over in your direction. Oh shit, I'm gonna run. As you're running through the forest, you trip on a twig and fly face first into a tree. You lose 1 physique. You wake up covered in leaves. It appears that they never found you. You have a terrible headache though. At least I ain't dead. You spent the week fighting brutes in the arena. Yay! On one night on your way home, you spot a rusty dagger on the ground. Give me a dagger, yeah. As you pick it up, you hear a voice from behind you whisper, "You are not worthy." The dagger begins to dissolve into a black smoke. Within seconds, the blade is gone. Okay. You spend the week experimenting with different potion brews. You gain 2 magic and 1 mind. One day you hear the voice of an alchemist shout, "Eureka!" When you look over to see what he's done, you spot a small, previously dead ferret come to life. Holy shit. "I've figured out the antidote to death," the alchemist exclaims. The undead ferret lets out a horrific noise and lumbers about slowly. Destroy the abomination, yes. You smack the ferret off the counter and stomp on it until it stops twitching. Could have done that in a more humane manner. The alchemist is horrified, so am I. You spend the week maintaining the plants in the royal garden. Nice. Walking past the pond one day, you see a fat little frog sitting on a lily pad. "Please, sir," the frog begs. "I am not a frog at all, but an enchanted prince. If you could see your way to kissing me, it would break the curse and return me to normal." "Well, you are talking, so I will trust you." You bend down and kiss the frog. You feel a curious stirring, like a curse trying to break. Unfortunately, you don't seem to be magical enough to get the job done. The frog thanks you for your efforts and hops off sadly. You wake up the next day with a bad case of lip warts. You spend the week doing paperwork for the palace. You're paid 2 wealth and gain 1 mind. One day you decide to lean up against a wall just to take a break. It rotates as you apply pressure and you stumble down a set of stairs. Ooh! You enter a large dusty room filled with barrels. You found the king's famous wine cellar. Host a secret party. You send invites to everyone you know, but not anybody shows up. You decide to drink your sorrows away all alone. You down glass after glass and quickly black out. That is exactly what I would do. When you come to, you find yourself in a home you don't recognise and in your underwear. Your clothes are nowhere to be found, and you seem to be the only one home. What happened? What happened indeed? You spend the entire week getting wasted. Yes! You gain 2 charm, 1 physique. One day a bard pulls out his lute in the bar and starts playing a tune. Unfortunately, his singing is horrible and is ruining the tavern's atmosphere. Oh dear. You decide to do something about it. Am I... Lute duel! Lute duel! You borrow the bar's owner's lute and challenge the bard to a musical duel. You play out a beautifully complex combination of arpeggios. The tavern roars with applause. The bard tries his best to replicate your piece, but ends up dropping his lute, snapping it in half. He bows his head shamefully in defeat and walks out of the tavern. Fantastic. You spend the week diagnosing and tending to the sick. What a good person you are. One day you hear spooky sounds echoing through the hospital. Ooh. That wasn't particularly spooky, was it? Soon afterwards, a glowing blue glow Blah, blah, blah. A glowing blue ghost floats down from the ceiling. She seems to be wandering the halls aimlessly, howling out horrible noises. Ooh. She doesn't appear to realise that she is freaking everyone out. You decide to do something about it. Let's talk to the ghost, let's be nice. You approach the spirit and try to explain to her the effects she is having on the sick. You're not convincing enough to be able to persuade her to stop her haunting. Eventually everyone gets used to her and learns to live with the creepy ghost. At least, you know, everyone's alright, I suppose. Fight crime! You spend the week outsmarting and beating up criminals. Ha! You gain a shit ton of stuff. One day, while wandering the slums, you notice that the stones used to line the road seem to have a certain pattern to them. You don't manage to figure out the mystery, but you still feel pretty smart for noticing the patterns of the tiles. Yeah. You spend the week hunting defenseless critters. Nice. One day you stumble upon a tall, nicely trimmed hedge in the middle of the woods. You sit and eat your lunch in front of the hedge, wondering what exactly it's doing out in the woods. Suddenly an enormous hand erupts from the foliage. Holy shit! Punch it! You try punching in the hand, but your blow just glances off it. The hand then grabs you and pulls you through the thorns of the hedge. No! The beast drags you all the way back to its lair and chains you up to... What? What the fuck? What? It starts peeling layers of your flesh off of you, eating it in front of you. What the fuck? What the... Jesus! Then he waves his hand, regenerating the flesh on your body. The cycle occurs for what feel like years. The mental torment you undergo is unbearable. The constant barrage of healing spells infuses you with raw magic. One day the beast slayer is attacked by another monster. You take this opportunity to escape. You push through the hedge and back into the forest. When you finally arrive home, you learn that you've only been gone for a day. What the fuck was that? You spend the week placing bets on your favourite fighters. During the match, another warrior's weapon is knocked from their grasp. You barely manage to avoid it. With a sickening crunch, it destroys the knee of a nearby bystander. He accuses you of causing him harm by not stopping the flying weapon. You're taking me to court? Again? I'm going to defend myself. Ow! You object, but you can't seem to convince the judge. Asshole. You spend the week cleaning up noxious chemicals. You're paid 1 wealth? Sweet. One day all the alchemists decide to take a break from work and instead throw a cantrip party? What's that? One alchemist waves his hand and produces confetti in front of him. Another spawns a seemingly endless number of doves from his sleeve. Then all the alchemists turn to you to see what you can come up with. Let's go fancy. With a snap of your fingers, you bring a chair to life. You sit atop of it and ride around the room. Everyone else is quite impressed, and so am I. Holy shit, that's cool. You spend the week in deep meditation. One day you come across an elderly man snoozing on the grass. You there, young person. He waves you over. I am having an awful time trying to nap in the bright sun. Do you mind giving me some shade? Yeah, sure. Ages seem to pass as you stand in the hot sun, the wizened old man sleeping peacefully in your shadow. The sun is sweltering, and after some hours you begin to feel faint. Gradually everything grows dark. When you awaken, it's evening in the garden, and an ancient gnarled tree stands where the old man was sleeping. You spend the week attending fancy gatherings. You gain 2 charm and 1 finesse. One day you accidentally bump into a duke. Watch where he goes, he stops mid-sentence. Oh, it's you, he blushes. Why haven't you come to visit me? You said you would. You practice your nodding along and faking that you're listening technique. You may have accidentally agreed to dinner or something, but it's too late now. That's fine. You spend the week serving drinks at the tavern. One day an impromptu drinking contest is held. Enter. You down pint after pint, drinking as if your life depended on it. You end up blacking out. When you come to, you find yourself in a home you don't recognise and in your underwear. Does that happen a lot around here? Seems a lot of people are doing that. Your clothes are nowhere to be found and you seem to be the only one home. You spend the week steeling your mind against the horrors of the hospital, making sure it is as clean as can be. One day while in the maternity ward, you notice a woman about to give birth. The baby she births is no ordinary baby, however. Its skin is pitch black and shiny, and its eyes glow like an orange flame. What? It wrestles itself from the doctor's hands and tries to fly away. What the hell is going on in this town? Stop that demon! Yells the doctor. I'm gonna use my magic. With a wave of your hand, you put a magical barrier blocking the exit. The demon bounces right off it and collapses onto the ground. The doctor runs up with a scalpel and... Oh my god! What the fuck? What? The doctor runs up with a scalpel and quickly slits the demon's throat. That's a baby! It may be a demon, but it's a baby demon. What the fuck? Your mouth goes agape at the doctor's merciless killing of the baby. That's pretty accurate description of what I'm doing right fucking now. I am agape and shocked and... What? He shrugs and walks away. Can I kill him? Can I kill that motherfucker? You spend the week performing petty theft. One night a woman walks up to you. Excuse me, sir. Feeling a little lonely tonight? For only a small amount of coin, I can make you feel good all night. I'm always happy to support someone in whatever endeavours they need to make money. Sure. Wait, was that him? I thought it said a woman. Is this a gender fluid person? Possibly. That's cool. On your way to your house, you start to talk about philosophy, history, magic, everything really. The two of you have an amazing conversation that goes well into the morning. Oh, is it a conversation we're having here? I had a different idea. The woman apologises for the lack of sex, but thanks you for the chat. Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. One day you stumble upon a corpse hanging from a tree. Carved into the tree it is written, maybe somebody in the afterlife will appreciate my beautiful melodies. Oh, it's not that bad, is it? Oh god, what have I done? What the fuck? Underneath the tree lays a broken lute. You cut the cups down from the tree and bury him in a shallow grave. Oh, I feel really bad. While wandering around the halls between matches, you spot your former lover, Kelly. An awkward exchange happens in which you want to know how they're doing without seeming to care too much. After a few minutes, Jean, one of the most popular fighters in the arena, butts into the conversation. Hey Kelly, sorry to interrupt, but we've got to leave right away if we want to make it to your mother's in time. You say an awkward goodbye as they walk off holding hands. How do you feel? I'm happy for Kelly. You feel it's good that both of you have moved on. One day while in the tower, one of the alchemists asks you to watch his potion while he's out. Soon after he leaves, the potion begins bubbling out of control. Drink it! That was a stupid thing to do, I'm glad it worked out well. One day a toothless old woman approaches you. I have a small pouch of magic beans. Would you be interested in purchasing them? I'm sorry for subjecting you to all these awful voices, by the way. Yeah, I'll buy them. Later, you decide to plant them in a small, rarely visited part of the garden. One day, the king approaches you. "Excuse me, but you look like somebody who I can confide in," he says. "I really want a prince to take over the throne, but the queen and I aren't exactly active in the bedroom." He blushes a little. "Do you have any advice on how I could romance the queen, so to speak?" "I will teach the king my ways." You spend hours drawing a bunch of diagrams and going through scenarios with the king. Right at the end of it, he's just as charming as you are. He thanks you and hands you a large sack of coins as a reward. That's not particularly large. Later that night, you get the sinking feeling that you might have actually made things worse. The very first day of the week, when you walk through the tavern doors, everyone cheers. Apparently during your last drunken outing, you were a party animal while you were blacked out. Legend spreads of your party-hard spirit. At least I know what I did. One day, the bloodletting leeches somehow escape from their containers. Leeches start flooding in. How many leeches are there? If leeches started flooding into the hallway, how many leeches do you have? That sounds terrifying. There are people screaming everywhere as leeches slither towards them. "Somebody do something!" yells one of the doctors. You wave your hands, unleashing a wave of magic to disintegrate the leeches. The leeches all poof into dust. Well done, me. One night, a small child approaches you, with his hands cupped and outstretched towards you. He doesn't say anything, but just looks up at you with wide eyes, waiting expectantly. I'll give him some coin. He thanks you and walks away. The next day, you recognise him on the street. You spot him eating what looks like a fresh loaf of bread. He sees you and smiles. You feel good about yourself. Right, let's see. What's my high stat? Wealth and finesse. Oh gosh. What should I do? What might finesse be good for? Tailor? You volunteer to weave and mend clothing for the survivors to keep warm. You manage to make a new set of clothes for every survivor. Morale increases and everybody is pretty excited for their new socks, scarves, hats. This helps the survival effort a lot. Good. Now what we've got here. Physique and charm. I'll go for builder. Take it upon yourself to help rebuild the town by hand. You rebuild homes fairly quickly and efficiently. I could have been a leader. Oh, got here. Mind and magic. I'm going to go for doctor. Take it upon yourself to help the sick and injured from the Yawhg. Despite your vast medical knowledge, your hands are too shaky to save some patients. You lose a few but manage to save most of them. And what have we got here? Finesse mind. Mind, surprisingly. That should have been doctor. God damn it. Physique is pretty high, finesse is pretty high. Smelter? You volunteered to smelt your now useless coins into building materials. Oh. Well, I didn't know that wealth was, like... Ah. And so, we set about our task, once more living our lives, this time in a way we might never have expected or even wanted, but in the end... we were defeated. Those of us left struggling to put our homes to right, but the effort was futile. Doomed. The city bled survivors, eventually becoming a husk, a dead thing. And perhaps the Yawhg was only partly to blame. Ah, again, I'm shite at this game. The Yawhg traumatised you deeply. Despite everything starting to be okay now, something in you snapped. Maybe it's witnessing a baby floating face down in the water. Oh my god. Maybe it's when you found a man skewered on a fence, still squirming slightly, his eyes an empty void. Perhaps it was when you saw a group of kids that were trapped in the school had resorted to eating their rotting teacher's corpse. Oh my god. Whatever it was, you can't help but drink. You drink so much you're not entirely sure what is real and what's an illusion. One day you look into a mirror and see your eyes are empty, hollow. To cope with living in a ruined city, you begin brewing your own alcohol. You start distributing it to other survivors to help them cope too. Soon enough, there are lines around the block of people craving the numbness your drinks provide. You actually do pretty well for yourself, and are treated with some respect in a place where that is hard to come by. People are starting to go blind, however. In the ruins of the village, you try to set up some form of infirmary to help cool the rampant diseases running amok. You try and find helpers, but it appears anyone able enough has either fled the city or died. Either way, you try your best to cure the scores of people killing people. You try your best to secure the scores of plagues killing people all over the ruins. Unfortunately, all your contact with various diseases has taken its toll. You die without saving anyone. With the town in ruins, you decide to flee and go through the woods to seek a new home. The venture is cut short, however, as you're mauled to death by a mysterious beast. So, this was the Yawhg. I have fucked it up again, but I'll probably give it like one more go, see if I can win it. I want to win it. I want to win this game. I love this game, it's great. So, this was the Yawhg. I was DorianGayming. I'll see you in a bit.